liftoff of the Delta rocket carrying GLAST, a gamma-ray telescope searching for unseen physics in the stars of the galaxies.
We're safe on Mars.
What is the point of spending $10 billion on a space telescope when 10,000 children are dying every single day with hunger? Is it a gratifying thing to spend $60 million to take a picture of a black hole when 759 million people still live in dark without electricity? Is it a senseless attitude getting ready to spend $10 billion to send a single human to Mars while we only have 7 years on Earth to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, or else we'll be in a hell? Why did Martin Luther King say, "It is meaningless to spend billions to reach the moon where no people live, while only a fraction of that amount is appropriated to service densely populated slums"? Soviets sent first human to space and America sent first human to moon. But both of them stopped sending humans to moon and focused on other things. Why? If space exploration is really that important, why did they stop manned missions? The honest question is, don't the governments, scientists, space agencies know these things? I chose this question because it is something that everyone should know. Many people, including scientists, are raising their voice against space exploration. But why? When I started researching on this topic, it turned out there are a lot of things at play here, and it became more and more interesting. So I dug deeper to know whether it's right or wrong to support space exploration. First, let me make some things clear. If you talk about satellites in space, the argument ends there. Everyone knows satellites are useful for communication, military, geophysics, and in a lot of fields. Somehow, you're watching this video with the help of satellites dancing up there in the orbit. So, we are not talking about satellites here. We are talking about Mars missions, moon missions, researchers on asteroids, black holes, dark matter, etc. Why are we spending huge amounts of money for them? Are they really useless? Let me start with a legendary stunt did by NASA back in 1969. It is to send man to the moon for the first time. Including the moonwalkers Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, a staggering 400,000 people worked for this project, and it was a huge success. Shortly after this moon landing in the early 1970s, the Associate Director of NASA, a top rocket scientist, Dr. Ernst Sterlinger, received a letter from Zambia, Africa. It was from Mary Zukunda, a nun. In her letter, she asked how he could suggest spending billions of dollars on such a project at a time when so many children were starving on Earth. What she got in reply was a long letter from Dr. Sterlinger. What happened next is very interesting. She read the letter and sent a reply letter to NASA. What did she write? Did she agree with the idea of spending billions of dollars for space programs? I will tell you at the end. Before that, I'm going to tell you some truths. Based on those facts, decide for yourself whether you want to support or oppose space exploration. Make sure you watch till the end, because your decision may change when you hear some stunning facts. And let me know your opinion on space exploration. When you ask space lovers, what's the use of space exploration, they usually come up with a common answer: technology. There are many technological benefits with space exploration, and that's true. We need advanced technologies to carry out our chores in space. These technologies, which are invented for the sake of space exploration, have many benefits on Earth. A great example is space engineers help to design a heart pump which is used to keep people alive until someone donates heart for transplantation. Today, we have better solar panels, light-based anti-cancer therapy, cell phone cameras, compact water purification systems, lightweight high-temperature alloys, and some biomedical technologies. These inventions are called spin-offs. They built better solar panels for space missions, which ultimately helped the solar panel industries on Earth. They built those things for space, which are also useful for Earth. And the most common argument is, why would you invest first in a space program and then expect a spin-off which are helpful for Earth? Why don't you directly invest that amount into the development of technologies on Earth? It'll save a lot of money. If your feeling is the same, you need to hear this. What we need is money. Money to spend on solving the Earth's problems. If you feel space programs taking up a lot of money, that's not entirely correct. Consider NASA for a moment. People think NASA takes quarter of the federal budget, but NASA took only 0.3% of annual federal budget in 2020. They claim that if NASA takes $1, it adds $7 to $14 to the US economy in the form of jobs, patents, etc. So, space programs may consume resources, but their contributions satisfy the consumption. If you think direct investment in solving Earth's problems is a good idea, you need to think again. When people asked something like this, Neil deGrasse Tyson, a famous astrophysicist, supported space exploration like this. Imagine for a moment, you are a genius in thermodynamics. If I ask you to build me a better oven, you might build a convection oven. No matter how much money I give you, you will not invent a microwave oven, because that came from another place. It came from the research on communications and radar, which are far from thermodynamics. I think he made the point. Some people argue that there are millions of people out there who are starving. If the money being put in space research is used to eradicate food scarcity, will it really solve the problem? I believe it is not only spending a bag of dollars, but it takes something more. Countries with food scarcity, lack of electricity, and other problems should have better policies and take better actions to solve the problems. We should know that only a few countries are doing space exploration, and most of them are economically stable. Now, think outside the box. If an asteroid of 96 kilometers wide hits Earth, everyone will die. If something like that happens, all these discussions, developments, economy, politics makes no sense at all. Luckily, we are not likely to hit by an asteroid. But on April 13, 2029, an asteroid called Apophis will pass inside the geosynchronous orbits of Earth. It will be a closest approach. But don't worry, it won't hit Earth and we are not going to die. You know what? In the month of August 2022, exactly 28 NEOs, near-Earth objects, passed close to Earth. They are harmless though. How do we know these things with this much of certainty? It's because of the research on asteroids and NEOs. After hearing all these, do you really feel space exploration is a waste of money? We know that there won't be any asteroid impacts and space hazards, but why are we still doing this research? Why did Japan send a spacecraft called Hayabusa 2 onto an asteroid named Ryugu to collect samples? If you feel so, I need to tell you an interesting story. In 1801, Giuseppe Piazzi, he accidentally discovered an asteroid and named it Ceres. When he discovered the asteroid, people may have felt, what is the use of knowing that there are asteroids up there? But those people didn't know, and even Piazzi didn't know that 65 million years ago, the thing that killed nearly all the life on Earth was an asteroid. When Piazzi discovered an asteroid, he didn't know that it is a dangerous celestial object. Dinosaurs died during an asteroid impact. People thought it was nonsense for 30 years. The thing is, science takes time and yields unpredictable outcomes. Of course, we love things to happen faster, but that's not always possible. Another strong point in favor of space exploration is space exploration inspires people. An interesting survey was conducted in 2009. This survey involved internationally renowned scientists who published in prestigious journal Nature. 50% of the scientists said Apollo mission inspired them to become scientists. Right after the moon mission by America, the number of PhDs in physics, engineering and mathematics increased rapidly. The craze of astronauts, space scientists is at another level. Imagine the moon in your childhood stories, in your bedtime dreams, under your feet. How inspiring it is. Stephen Hawking once said, to confine our attention to terrestrial matters would be to limit the human spirit. So, we are spending billions of dollars for space to make better economy, technology, inspiration, knowledge. It feels it's worth it. Or is it? I need to tell you another important thing. Michio Kaku, a famous physicist, once said, when Soviet Union sent the first man to space, it was all over the news. America decided to send humans to moon to prove their superiority of capitalism over communism. Arthur C. Clarke, the author of the book 2001: A Space Odyssey, once said, I would have never imagined there would be an attempt to send humans onto the moon if it hadn't become the focus of competition between two nations. You know what? In 1969, Soviet Union dropped out of space race, and America's last mission to send humans to moon was Apollo 17 in 1972. America used more than 4% of its annual federal budget for the moon mission. After that, they chose to build ISS, Mars rovers, etc. So, is the motto of space research is to give better life to humans or for pride? However, the results of those missions were useful and inspirational. What if things didn't go that way? What if the mission failed? We can't afford that much of money, hard work and failure missions just for pride. Did you know that the Mars Climate Orbiter failed to give any useful data and burned? It took $328 million to build. You know what? The mission failed due to the translation error of English units to metric units. It is mind-blowing to know that if a random stone hits the Hubble Space Telescope and it stops working, it costs more to repair it than to launch a new telescope. It's the people's money we are spending in space research, so we can afford failures for pride. What I want to say is, there are a lot of things out there in here that we don't know. It feels weird to know that, as humans, we don't even know what to know. So, exploring the cosmos is equally important as fighting the socio-economic challenges. So, gathering the knowledge to terraform Mars is equally important as trying to stop global warming. If Elon Musk is trying to terraform Mars, don't blame him, you try to stop global warming. We know that space research is a long-term project, but global warming is happening right now. But it's not defunding the space research that helps, but funding more on global warming. The thing is, the technologies we use for space exploration are the reasons that we know the severity of global warming with this much of certainty. The questions that are against space exploration are big ifs. If we spend that money on something else, if we do this, if we do that, these ifs are fueled by curiosity, and curiosity yields prediction. These predictions may not be accurate for the next decades because prediction is the hardest thing to do. Albert Einstein said nuclear energy is impossible, but today 10% of the world's energy comes from 440 nuclear reactors. Lord Kelvin said things that are heavier than air can't fly, but 4.7 billion people used airplanes in 2020. So we should keep faith in science, the science that is helpful for humans and all other creatures. The sole purpose of science should be benefiting the life of species on Earth. Whether it is space exploration, genetic engineering, the main objective should be helping life on Earth. Any other motive behind the research will lead to the wastage of valuable resources. Did I miss something? Oh yes, I did. What was that African nun's reply to NASA's Associate Director's letter? She replied, "Thank you. From now on, I firmly believe in the profound value of the space program." The letter written to Mary Zukunda was published by NASA and titled, "Why Explore Space?" Now, tell us your opinion in the comment section. The sources of the information that I told are in the description, and you can go through them to know more and cross-verify. Make sure you pay a visit to our Instagram profile where you can find lots of useful stuff and we can have an interaction. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I think we made a useful video and worth sharing. If you feel the same, please share this.